Hello, my name is Jim Kenny. I am from Informatica Customer Support, and today I'll be conducting this video on how to export all proactive monitoring metadata from RulePoint. The product in question here is Proactive Monitoring for Power Center Operations 2.6. First, we'll be covering the agenda for the video and discussing the major talking points as shown here. First, what is a RulePoint export all operation and what data does it include? A RulePoint export all operation compiles all metadata within its database and exports it to an XML file. This XML file format is proprietary to RulePoint and is what we call database agnostic, or also database platform independent. For example, you can take an export from a RulePoint system that's using an Oracle backend. You can then take that export and import it into another RulePoint system that might be using, say, a SQL Server backend. It's meant to be able to port data between database platforms with ease. What objects and data are included in an export all operation? Well, we cover all topics, all classes of services, and that's all sources, analytics, and responders, templates, all rules, responses, and watch lists. Now note, event data is not included in RulePoint exports. We do not capture event data. We don't preserve it. There's no reason to. This is just for setting up a turnkey system for proactive monitoring, so we do not collect and retain the event data in an export. So basically what we'll do here next is we're going to go ahead and perform an export all operation so I can demonstrate that for you. What we'll first do is we'll head over to the RulePoint UI, and basically what you see here is the home screen for the RulePoint user interface, and this is a typical home screen for RulePoint 5.2 hotfix 3, and this is what you might see for proactive monitoring for Power Center Operations 2.6 as well as 2.5. So anyway, this is your home screen, and to start an export all operation you have to be logged in as an administrative user. That's the admin user up here that we're logged in as. This is using native authentication. So in the upper right corner by the sign off link you'll see an administration link. You select this link, it takes you to the administration screen. From the administration screen, you pick the export field, export menu item, excuse me. And so what we'll do, you have several options where we can export selected objects, such as certain rules, certain watch lists, what have you. But for today's demonstration, we're going to do the export all. This will capture all the objects inside of RulePoint that make up the proactive monitoring solution. So you click export all, and what ends up happening is it opens up this new window. And so basically this typically comprises 3 steps. First we have to give it a name. Let's make this a little bit bigger. So first we'll say full export. We'll give it today's date. Alright, so basically we'll provide the date today. Actually, let me go back. This is let me just make this so basically we just go ahead and provide today's date, and if you want to you can provide a description, and you'll notice that there are 3 checkboxes, and they're not checked by default. You have include ACLs and export set, include user policies and export set, and include system configuration in the report. By default, these are turned off, and it's for a reason. For the first one, ACLs, that deals with what we call access control lists. Every object, every rule, every template, every watch list, every topic, every single object in the RulePoint metadata set has what we call an ACL, or access control list. We don't want to export these typically by default unless we want to preserve those access control lists. These things handle object ownership, so every single object has, knows who it's owned by, whether it's admin or whatever number of, a different user, a group. Typically, when we're doing a full export, we won't want to keep that information, especially if we're going to be copying things across to a new system. Maybe you want to be exporting or importing into a new system for RulePoint that is configured to use LDAP. So typically we do not include ACLs. Same thing goes for user policies. User policies are policies that you set up that allow or restrict access throughout the RulePoint user interface. And again, we don't want to include those. They're very easy to set up. You can simply include them, create them once you've re-imported all your data into your new RulePoint system. And then, of course, consistent configuration, you can include it if you want, but we don't necessarily need it. We're just focusing on the metadata here, our rules, our templates, all the things that we really care about that make this system work with proactive monitoring is, these are the things that we care about. So just the actual metadata objects themselves. So we've named our file. We're not going to we provide a description, which is also optional. We are not checking any of these checkboxes, and all we have to do now is click Create Export File. And what you'll see is a dialog box will pop up saying Export is started. Now you won't see the status here. You need to close this window, and we're going back into our export screen. So what I can do here is you'll see by the export history there's a status, or a refresh icon. You select that, and we ought to see that here, and we do. You can see that we do in fact have our export here from today, and it's listed here. Now what we can also do is we can select it, and you can see all the various, a report of all the various entities that were, or objects that were exported and included in this file. You can see we've got our rules, services, these are all, and service could be an analytic, it could be a response, a responder, a source. We're capturing all our services here, our responses, topics, templates, and user information, and watch lists. We capture everything. So it's all here. So we'll go back, click on View All Exports. We can look at our list. Something else we can also do is, we can download the file. If you want to save it to your desktop or put it on a network share or someplace where it'll be backed up, you can see to the left of each export we have a download icon. So you select that. May or may not get blocked. You can just click it again. That should allow it to pop up. It all depends on what your browser settings are. So we are going to in fact save this to, let's see, we'll just save it to the desktop for now, okay? And what you can do, once this downloads, you can see once this is finished downloading, you can either open it or open it in a folder. So that's what I'm going to do. Is you want to look at it in the desktop, and I can basically fire it up and look at it in an ASCII editor like Notepad or TextPad. I like TextPad. So this can show us exactly, what we have here. These elements that you see here. This is the report that we saw just in the RulePoint UI, showing a listing of everything that was exported. And then if you scroll down, you can actually see. Some of the things that we're looking at, like our user information, our topics, our let's see. We'll try and get the topics again. This is this proprietary XML format that I was talking about earlier, and you can see it's a lot of data. Here we're looking at some of the service information. Let me go back up. Down. Yeah, so this is services information regarding our RulePoint services that are used within Proactive Monitoring. So you can see here we have all this information that's captured as part of this XML export file, if you will. And then if you want, we can, you could then take this XML file and, take it, upload it into a new separate RulePoint system and import it. And that data is all there. All the services are ready to go. Everything's ready to go. It's turnkey, and you just have to. It's basically a one-click operation. You import the information, and you're all set. But this again is just to show how we export everything and what an XML export file might look like for a full export operation. And that's what we have here. So basically, we'll go back and look at our go back and go to the summary here. So we'll talk again just to kind of recap. RulePoint's export all functionality allows system administrators to quickly and easily export all proactive monitoring metadata within RulePoint's database. And again, we're covering, as I showed you in the export report output and in the file itself, it covers all topics, all services, and that includes all sources, analytics, and responders. templates, rules, responses, and watch lists. Again, event data is not included in RulePoint exports, that includes partial exports as well as full exports. And again, the exports are database agnostic or database platform independent, and their file contents can be exported from and imported to RulePoint systems using any supported database platform. You can find the product availability matrices for RulePoint at my.informatica.com on our online customer support portal. And of course, we can download export files for backup and archival purposes. So at least if you need to have a copy of your data safe, whether it's on a network share or your desktop or what have you, you have the option to go ahead and download that information. Well, that wraps up this video. I hope this video was informative. We would love to hear back from you regarding feedback. You can email feedback to supportvideos@informatica.com, or you can tweet feedback to our Twitter account, which is InfoSupport, and you can see the URL for that Twitter link just below the email address. Again, my name is Jim Kenny from Informatica Customer Support, and thank you for your time and watching this video. Thank you and have a good day.